Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 have a lot of similarities, but there are some differences as well. And so I wanted to help you decide which one you should choose. Now I'm going to talk mostly about what's different because most of the things are the same. Now the first thing is the price. The iPhone 12 mini comes in at $699, $749, or $849, depending on the amount of storage you get. The iPhone 12 is $100 more for the same amount of storage. So $799, $849, and $949. So there is a $100 difference. Both add $30 to the price if you want them unlocked instead of getting them through your carrier. So it's the first time we've seen Apple do that. You'll add an additional $30 to that price if you want the unlocked version. You have three different storage options: 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes, or 256 gigabytes. They both come in the exact same color options. So we have black, white, product red, blue, and green. And so here is the green iPhone 12 mini and the blue iPhone 12. And the next thing that is a little bit different is obviously the size, but also the weight. Because the iPhone 12 mini is mini, it's a little bit lighter. It's 4.76 ounces or 135 grams versus iPhone 12, which is 5.78 ounces or 164 grams. So there is definitely that difference. Now, of course, the iPhone 12 mini is smaller, and as you can see here, it's a lot smaller. The frame is basically the same width. They both have a very nice matte finish on them. And let's go around the outside edge. So just like on both of them and all iPhones of the past, that at least have had power buttons on the side, we have the power sleep wake button. Then below that, we have 5G. They both get millimeter wave in the United States. That's the 5G antenna. On the top, we really don't have anything. On the left side, again, they're identical. You have your silent switch, your volume buttons, and then a SIM card tray at the bottom. On the bottom, they're slightly different just because of the overall size. As you can see here, we have one less microphone hole. So on the iPhone 12, we have 3 microphone holes. On the iPhone 12 mini, we have 2. Then we have our lightning port in the middle, which is nice and symmetrical. And then we have speaker holes as well on the other side. The iPhone 12 mini has 4. The iPhone 12 has 5 of them. So other than those, they're identical in every way. On the back, they have the same sort of camera layout and the exact same cameras. So they are obviously different sizes, which makes the mini and the iPhone 12 sort of the normal size. Now, when it comes to the front of them, they both have Face ID, and you can see the displays are obviously different sizes. But with the mini, because it's a slightly smaller display, the notch is more prominent, so it's a little bit bigger. If you look at the edges around the notches here, it's a little bit different on the mini. The notch looks bigger, even though it's technically a smaller notch by ever so slight an amount. So I don't know if you can see that, but it is technically a smaller notch, but you have a smaller screen size. You have the exact same OLED panels as far as their quality. They both go up to 625 nits of brightness and full peak brightness when playing HDR content at 1200 nits. So there's no problem viewing them in normal daylight. They both go super bright, which you can't really see on camera. It will look too bright, but they're both very bright, very good displays with great viewing angles. They're OLED displays, both of them, but on the iPhone 12 mini, it's a 5.4-inch display. It's 2340 by 1080 with a pixel density of 476 pixels per inch. It's actually the most densely packed display this year of all of the iPhone 12s as far as its pixel density. With the iPhone 12, it's a 6.1-inch display, 2532 by 1170 with 460 pixels per inch. You can't see the pixels on either. They look great on both. And like I said, they both have very vibrant displays. They're HDR. True Tone is supported on both. Wide color P3, haptic touch. So no more 3D touch that was gone last year, but you get haptic touch on both. And then, of course, you've got the same sort of fingerprint resistant coating on both. Now, one of the major concerns on both of them as well is its battery. So the battery size of both is obviously different because we have different size frames. So because the camera module and the CPU and all of the different things inside are basically the same, you have to make the battery smaller. So with the iPhone 12 mini, it's a 2,227 milliamp hour battery. With the iPhone 12, it's 2,815 milliamp hours. That will actually give you close battery life, but the iPhone 12 mini is about an hour less battery life. So about 5 hours with the iPhone 12 mini, in my experience, about 6 with the iPhone 12. Now, this could change in the future. It could change based on how you use your phone. If you're a heavy user, it will still get you through the day, but generally you'll have to charge it nightly or maybe once during the day if you're a very heavy user. If you use it casually for some social media or maybe just playing music, well, then you can expect very similar battery life, and they will easily get you through a day or more. Now, the other difference between them when it comes to battery and charging is they can both charge very fast. They both support fast charging, but with the new MagSafe, the iPhone 12 mini charges a little bit slower. It has a maximum of 12-watt charging speeds. So what that means is while the MagSafe connector will technically charge a little bit slower, because the battery is smaller, it will charge in the same amount of time as the iPhone 12. So it sort of evens itself out because of that. Both of them, like I said, support MagSafe and all the MagSafe accessories that allow for charging with MagSafe. And you've got that nice animation that goes along with it. There we go. And they all support the MagSafe accessories. There's cases for them and all sorts of things. So cases, here's another iPhone 12 mini. So you have leather and silicone cases from Apple, as well as other cases as well. And again, they support MagSafe, so they hold on magnetically. Now, the things I've already listed are the major differences between these phones. They both have the same A14 Bionic CPU with 4 gigs of RAM, the same Face ID that unlocks super fast. They both equally perform the same. If you open music, for example, they're going to resume just as fast. You're not going to have any issues with RAM management. And if you open the App Store, for example, you'll see it's nice and fast. Everything is super fast on these phones. Opening the weather app, going back to another app, whatever you want to do is going to feel super fast and fluid. There's no compromises between either. Both have the same great cameras. So you have 4K recording in the front. Let me flip the cameras around. You have 4K recording in the front, no problem whatsoever. The same exact cameras and the same cameras on the back. 12 megapixel regular and 12 megapixel ultra wide with the same apertures. 1.6 apertures for the normal wide aperture lens or wide lens and 2.4 aperture with 120 degree field of view for the ultra wide. You're not compromising on the quality of the cameras whatsoever in either of them. They both support HDR as well this year, Dolby HDR. So if we go down to our camera settings, go to camera on both, me find it here. There we go. And you'll see here are the recording options. So 4K 60. And then if you use Dolby Vision HDR, you can go up to 30 frames per second. So they're both really great cameras. And again, there's no compromises between either. You're going to have the same speed, the same camera experience. The battery life is slightly different. You have slightly different sizes, but there's no compromise between either other than the things I've already mentioned with the battery life and the difference in weight, size, and price. Otherwise, you can pick whichever one works best for you. They're both great phones. I've heard a lot of comments of people saying that the 12 mini is the perfect phone this year, and I've heard a lot of people saying that the 12 is the perfect phone size this year. So it really just depends on which works for you as far as phone size. For me personally, the 12 mini is way too small. You can see it in my hand. It's very tiny. But for me, the 12 feels right this year with the 12 and 12 Pro. The 12 Pro Max is a little bit too large. One thing you may have already noticed is they're both fingerprint magnets. It's going to show a little bit easier on the darker phones. This blue color has a ton of fingerprints already all over it just from recording this video, just holding it in my hands like normal. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's one thing that you may want to put a cover on the back, a case or a stand or something like that. Both of them have the same speakers. They both support 1080p and 4K YouTube videos. So if we go into YouTube, so you can see here's my video on the iPhone 12 Pro Max review. If we go to the resolutions available, you can see we have 2160p at 60 frames per second or HDR if the video is in HDR. So 4K at 60 frames per second or HDR is supported on either. They both have the same wireless antennas. They both have 5G, and the experience is basically the same. It really comes down to which one is the right size for you. If you pick the mini or the regular 12, there's no compromise between either. It's just a matter of preference for the size of it overall. So hopefully this helped you decide which one works best for you. Again, it's a fairly simple choice since there's not really a compromise between either, but you do pay a little bit less for the iPhone iPhone 12 mini versus the iPhone 12, you'll save about $100. Otherwise, everything's the same except for what I've already mentioned. But let me know if you picked up an iPhone 12 mini or an iPhone 12, and I'd love to hear which color you picked up and which storage size as well. Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to get your hands on the wallpaper I have in this video, of course, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already, though, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.